YouTube? It's your boy Josh back with another video today. Today we're gonna be doing another reaction video. We're gonna be looking at NBA players that tarnished their reputation or image basically in the 2020 playoffs. Obviously with the bubble, we saw people hooping. It wasn't supposed to be hooping like that for like TJ Warren was out here getting buckets. Even though TJ Warren we did a video on the channel, you can see that. TJ Warren was a bucket, but he wasn't hooping like that in the league. No one expected him to hoop like that. Devin Booker, what we expected it. Jamal Murray was going crazy. Obviously, the Heat, a lot of people, the bubble just let them, people that you wouldn't expect to be going off like that, go off. So we about to see what this video is talking about. I think it's Andy Who's video. I'll be watching his videos a lot. I never did reaction videos to one video, so we gonna see what it's talking about. Cause I'm interested to see who they got in here. I have a feeling a couple people I can probably name off the top of my head. They probably Embiid, Westbrook, who else? Giannis. I'm gonna say them three right now. Them three I feel like are gonna be on the list. So we gonna see. Let's see what this shit talking about.
The true testament of a player's legacy is not his regular season numbers or the number of all-star teams he makes or how many Big Macs he can eat before the game. A player's career, a player's status, and reputation is determined by how well he performs in the playoffs. When the pressure
Chris Middleton might be on this shit too. His weak ass.
We've seen some guys with incredible breakouts. Jamal Murray comes to mind. A player who is seen as being very talented, but not yet there. That changed in the 2020 playoffs.
Bucket.
What about the opposite? Conversely, we've seen players have complete meltdowns.
I think Al Horford didn't do shit this whole year. I don't know what happened. From the Celtics to the 76ers, he didn't do shit.
Collapsed when it mattered the most. Probably much more of those players compared to the ones who excelled on the big stage. In this video, we're going to take a look at those players. The players who saw their image tarnish, and the opinion of them from the fan base became quite negative.
Hey, yo, he spiked bro.
Folks, my name's Andy, and
oh my
let's
God.
get started. Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma. It almost seems like every player, Danny Green crumbles under the pressure. He used up all his energy in the 2013 and 2014 finals, and ever since then, his performance during the playoffs has severely
He started hitting in the finals, though. I'll give him that.
Compared to his regular season.
The rest of that shit, that nigga was ass.
Even in Toronto, where he shot nearly 46% from three during the season, that number dropped to 33% in the playoffs. With the Lakers, his reputation for underperforming in the playoffs still lingers.
Nigga's ass, bro. He's ass. Damn, he's ass, bro. Danny Green's pissed me off all season.
Kuzma, on the other hand, hasn't shown much in his first ever postseason. Granted, he's had an awkward career so far, going from a shockingly good prospect as a late first-round pick and presumably becoming a focal point of the future to now taking a back seat to LeBron and AD.
Kuzma be having moments though. I'll give him that. But that nigga,
because the Lakers are winning,
be doing some bullshit.
But through his comments and interviews, it's clear that he wants more. He wants to do more for the team, and he expects more of himself. The entire 2019 to 20 campaign was very uneasy for him, getting benched with limited minutes and having such few opportunities compared to his previous 2 years. Early on in the season, in November of 2019, Kuzma was asked how he felt about his new role, and if he was patient enough to slowly integrate himself on this new roster. Kuzma responded, "No, I'm not patient at all. That's just part of sacrifice and trying to be on a winning team. Obviously, it's hard sometimes when you're a young player wanting to continue to establish yourself and see you measure
this nigga better learn to... He in a good situation.
You have the
if I'm Kuzma, I'm using LeBron and AD to learn from, and I'm going to get nice as hell. He has good-ass resources. There's I'm not patient. Oh, shut your whack ass up. You want to chip.
Naturally. Kuzma also mentioned that rebounding and defense would be his priorities as the season progressed.
That's a motherfucking
lie. But it didn't really look like it.
He was out here getting cooked.
His playoff run is, well, it's been pretty mediocre. He's playing.
Who was it? I think it was Michael Porter Jr. He was cooking this nigga at one point.
And his defense is atrocious. I've never seen someone jump on so many pump fakes before.
That nigga Kuzma don't play no fucking defense. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh my god. He should have been in that video we did last time.
On the floor, the Lakers actually have a negative net rating, getting outscored by 3 points per 100 possessions. Considering how frequently they're the ones outscoring the opposing team, it's shocking that Kuzma hurts the Lakers so much by himself.
Hey.
This also leaves Kuzma with a questionable future. The truth is, he's just a leftover piece from back in the days when the Lakers were trying to rebuild. But by signing LeBron and trading a ton of young assets for Davis, they went from a rebuilding team to an instant contender. In my opinion, Kuzma needs a change of scenery, and it seems like he's ready for that too.
He might get traded. Hey, if they get what's his name? Chris Paul?
I don't like to
Kuzma
use the
gonna be out of here. Him and Danny
exposed
Green.
because that's a bit harsh, but in this case, Pascal Siakam definitely got exposed.
I remember that
play. In the
play.
post-Kawhi era, Siakam's usage rate skyrocketed, quickly becoming the focal
That
point
nigga
of
was
the
getting
offense. This was his breakout year.
fouls.
He led the team in scoring. He made his first ever All-Star appearance. He made All-NBA second team. And on paper, the Raptors were doing better than ever, on pace to have their best season in franchise history. Unfortunately, when the Raptors played the Celtics, it was clear that Siakam was not ready. He had a horrendous series, putting up putrid numbers across the board, and had such a difficult time scoring. I mean, fewer than 15 points a game, 38% shooting.
12%? Hold up. Nigga, you should have been stopped shooting threes. Oh my lord. His fucking field goal percentage was looking like somebody 3-point percentage.
Nearly 5 threes a game. I mean, that's awful.
He was taking 5 threes a game, shooting 12%.
Siakam had the worst offensive and defensive rating, a ridiculous hindrance to his team.
Stop
who was
shooting,
way
boy.
better with him on the bench.
Hey.
There was really nothing good going
Hell,
on.
he is straight backboard.
Compared to his phenomenal regular season, Siakam got completely taken out. Boston's defense shut him down, and the man who was supposed to take over Kawhi's role couldn't do it. Shaq had a good take on this situation. In the TNT studio, he stated, "Siakam is not a star. He's a designated star because Kawhi left."
That's true. It's the truth. Hey, I don't know who said he was a star. Shit, there's a couple people that, like, Paul George is a star. Not Kawhi. Pascal is not nearly as good as Paul George. And Paul George...
And added on, Siakam's an all-star, so he's a heck of a player. But this is his first time in the Batman role.
That's like if Giannis left. It's like if Giannis left and then Chris Middleton had to be the star. Like, he's not a star. He's not like that. He's a good secondary piece.
If I were to name one player who dropped off the most compared to their regular season, it has to be Siakam.
I don't know.
Eric Bledsoe.
Danny Green pretty
you
ass.
probably didn't expect Bledsoe to be here, but he certainly fits the theme
I
of
forgot
this
this
video.
nigga even played.
Believe it or not, there was a time when Bledsoe's arrival in Milwaukee was met with high expectations. He was the point guard the team supposedly needed. A guy who can cut, who can kind of shoot and play off of Giannis, while not needing to control the offense. And ever since he came to Milwaukee, he's always had good seasons. Most of the time, he's the third best player on the team behind Giannis and Chris Middleton. But come playoff time, he always disappears.
When Terry Rozier dropped that nigga off for the game winner.
His numbers, his efficiency both see a drastic drop-off. And in 2020, this was more apparent than ever. Against the Miami Heat, Bledsoe averaged about 12 points per game on a pitiful 33% shooting.
Look at this nigga, bro.
Even George Hill, his backup, played better than he did.
And he asked too.
Goran Dragic and Tyler Hero severely outplayed Bledsoe.
3-point percentage.
He looked almost non-existent. A complete non-factor for a guy who routinely records solid regular seasons. Oh, and let's not forget, he makes a ridiculous amount of money and is still signed up until 2023.
Hey, I thought he was about to jelly that bitch.
When people talk about bad contracts that the team can't get rid of, this Bledsoe contract does not get talked about enough. He'll be extremely hard to trade if the Bucks even try to retool their roster. I guess he could just tweet out that he doesn't want to be there, and maybe his wish will be granted. Since we're on the topic of the Bucks,
the only person that got the worst
mention
contract ever
Giannis
is John
as
Wall.
well.
That nigga contract, that nigga made like $44 million a year.
He didn't have a bad playoff run, even
And
by
he played
his
in 2 years.
standards. He played incredibly well, despite getting knocked out early again. The issue is, it seems like every playoffs, Giannis struggles against defenses that know what they're doing. We saw that against Toronto as well, where they
he only going one place. He ain't gonna shoot you out of game. He gotta go to the basket. And that's not fair. That's Kawhi.
Forced him to take a tough
Look,
shot.
Kawhi not letting. Look, he all on that nigga bunker.
The Miami Heat's defense was similar, stifling him once again. For a back-to-back MVP
he can't shoot
like this, it's kind of rough.
Nigga, where are you going? You
While
only going to the basket.
Tarnished his reputation, it's starting to become a worrisome trend. It's still about his lack of shooting. Even though he improved, other teams don't see it that way, and they don't feel threatened if Giannis takes a jumper.
Nigga, I'm not worried about Giannis shooting.
Don't cover him like James Harden or Steph Curry. The predictability of his game has been figured out.
Damn.
Perhaps the Bucks need to rethink their game plan if
tackling
they
this
win the
thing.
title. Kawhi Leonard.
Really?
You can also throw in Paul George and many other Clippers, but let's focus solely on Kawhi for a minute.
I'm surprised he on here.
I've talked about the Clippers' meltdown in a previous video.
That's the only time he really didn't play.
What's been understated is how Kawhi's kinda protected from criticism, which is weird. Can you imagine if somebody like LeBron posted a stat line of 14 points on 6 of 22 shooting in a Game 7? He'd get absolutely hammered. Yet, when Kawhi has a terrible game, it gets overlooked. Maybe it's because we don't look at Kawhi the same way we look at other superstars.
Kawhi do be getting protected, though.
He's never been the leader on any team of his career, even if he's the best player on the roster. He's simply a guy who's very good at basketball, and doesn't have much of a presence off the court compared to LeBron. Now, to give credit, Kawhi was amazing for most of the playoffs. He's proven time and time again that he's clutch and steps up in the spotlight. Just not this time. He certainly didn't struggle every other game like Paul George did.
Oh, we ain't gonna talk about
By the way, already tarnished his legacy enough in recent years. But for Kawhi to have such a poor Game 7, it's pretty rare.
He ain't doing any better.
But to be labeled as arguably the best player in the league, and then to blow a 3-1 lead with the franchise on his back, Kawhi deserves the criticism, and this knocks him down a few pegs. Which other players do you think have played well below expectations in the 2020 playoffs?
I'm surprised they didn't put,
Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who else deserves to be on this list?
Like I said, I'm surprised they didn't put Westbrook or somebody in there. I don't think that can be. I can understand because Ben Simmons is hurt. I mean, he was hooping sometimes. And for real, instead of Paul George, it should have been instead of Kawhi, it should have been Paul George in that segment. Paul George, I don't know where the hell that nigga been the last couple years. He's just ass. But I kind of knew everybody else was going to be in there, especially Danny Green, Kuzma. Them niggas is ass. I don't think Kuzma. I don't think them two gonna return next year. One of them two gonna be gone. That's just my prediction. But y'all let me know if y'all think anybody else should have been on the list, or what y'all think will happen to all season. That's it for me.
I thought you niggas knew I'm the psycho. Talk like I'm the greatest, what do I know?